Hey, AfterBuzzers, you're watching the Deuce After Show for Season 2, Episode 8, Nobody Has to Get Hurt. We're going to be talking about mob business, Lori and Cece, and Larry putting his foot down on set. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey!
I really wish I had my afro.
Woo!
All right, guys, welcome back to the After Show for the Deuce. We are talking Season 2, Episode 8, Nobody Has to Get Hurt. Back again with another full panel. Look at that. 2 times in a row.
Celebration.
Good for us. Everybody, please introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, great to be back again. It's Louiza Shar here. Hello everyone. This is Farah Naz.
Hey guys, the music is so good. This is Nakia Monet.
And guys, again, this is Nate Miller. And let's just hop right into it. We got a lot to talk about with this episode. First topic we've got here, we got a lot of mob business going on this episode. Right in the beginning, we get some blowback from Vinny getting shot at last week. And they have kidnapped Marty Hodis, and they're asking him who did the shooting. And it escalates really quickly. I thought they were just going to like beat him up. But Rudy's like, no, we're just going to kill you. Gives Tommy the gun. Tommy goes, you know what? Vincent hasn't killed anyone yet. Vincent, you kill him. And Vincent, do you think he was going to do it?
No,
He wasn't going to.
And I think Tommy knew he wasn't going to do it. Low key. I don't know. I don't know. Because he could have asked... is it Black Mike?
Black Frankie?
He could have asked Black Frankie.
Black Frankie's killed.
So cool.
So my read of this is, I think, last week we saw they know that Vincent wants to get out.
Yeah.
And then especially after the shooting thing and him, like it seemed he's with them, like, don't worry, we got you. We're going to find out this. We're going to protect you. To kind of fold him in, having him kill somebody for you is kind of like, all right, I kind of own you now. You know, in the mob criminal world, breaking the seal, you know, with bloodletting is a big deal. So I think he kind of did want him to kill him, especially with how we saw Tommy kill the last guy. Like,
oh yeah,
it didn't really take much. He just kind of popped him. I don't know, but obviously he talks his way out of it. I think for Vincent, he saw a lot of parallels with himself of like, you know, yes, he's involved, but he's only so much involved. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. He does this, and yeah, he just passes envelopes. And I think for Vincent, that was really like, oh my God, this could be me on the other side, and I'm trying to get information from me. So I think that's part of the why they let him go.
And they verified that the drive-by shooting was to shoot Vincent.
Later, yes.
Yeah.
So later we see Rudy meeting up with Maddie, who is the other boss, and Maddie admits to putting the hit out, but he says that they weren't trying to hit Rudy and Tommy, they were just trying to get their moneymaker, which is, you know, the way that the calmness and the coldness that they deliver that.
So scary.
crazy.
Yeah, they're talking about human lives as like pawns in their own games with each other, but they make enough of a truce to realize that both of them are invested in the same film. This is not going to go well at all. But as if that deal wasn't enough, they decide, hey, let's sign Lori to a picture deal and buy her out from Cece. So they meet with her agent, in which I thought was a fantastic scene.
Awesome.
Putting her foot down.
Finally.
Yeah, a nice contrast of the last meeting we saw with some mob guys last episode. What did you guys think of this? They go and they meet up with Cece and kind of essentially strong arm him into taking the deal.
Yeah, I think that started from, first of all, Kiki asking Lori and saying, hey, do you want to do this? Well, if you do this, then I have a plan. That's when, obviously, they decided to buy her out. And I think that's the last resort, that nothing else could have happened. There's no way Lori would have left Cece on her own. This is the best way to do it with the backing that they did. Yeah, and we saw how it obviously escalated, but it was a great move.
I was a little embarrassed for Cece.
Me too.
I felt a little bad. I mean, it's one of those things I feel like through this whole season, you kind of start to see, like, Cece unwind and, like unravel, I
His
guess you can
status go
say.
down.
Yeah, because people I feel like have been testing him, and Lori's like, you're trash. Our girl Ashley's like, you're trash.
Yeah.
And I felt like this was a moment where he knows he can't go against the mob.
Yeah.
And pretty much it was like, look, we're not asking you, we're telling you you're going to take this deal.
Yeah.
Look at your shitty car. You're welcome. And I felt bad. That's why I love the part when he's like, go ahead, I'll meet you in there. Because I think for his pride, he didn't want to walk in the car with them. Because at least he wanted to have a little bit of dignity left.
I thought it was interesting seeing the dynamic where, you know, Cece's usually the one intimidating these helpless women. And for once, he's the one being intimidated. And then at one point, one of the mobster men tell him, let's just make it clear, we're not here to negotiate.
I love that.
Like, you don't have a choice. This is going to happen. You know, so you better just go with it.
Yeah, it's a great example of power dynamic, especially to see it flipped with someone like Cece, because so much of the time has him been talking tough and threatening violence and stuff, and even, you know, beating Lori. But now to see him so essentially powerless, it was really powerful. And then to go into the next little segment I've got is, you know, Cece with Lori, and after he's taken this money and he's kind of takes her out on a last hurrah. Yeah, it's really hard to watch.
He felt like he had to get his manhood back by some way because it's been taken away from him. So he thought he would degrade this girl any way he could, and he definitely did. And that was a very tough scene.
I watched that.
I thought this is where he was going to kill her. So
I did too.
Like,
the whole
time
I was like, my seat. I was like,
why did she go?
She had no choice.
Why did she go?
No, she had.
Why has she been
inkling.
with him the rest of the years?
She had no
Here's the
gut,
thing.
like nothing.
They bought her out, but she wasn't officially out until she got on that plane. So like, she had no choice. She had to go with Cece.
Even her intuition as a woman.
But
like,
see,
she knew what was coming.
The reality of the situation is her being bought out. It's not like she's like, all right, cool, now I'm free. Like, no, you're just traded from one hand to another.
One pimp
so
to the next pimp.
she's still not in control. She's very much.
It was difficult.
I'm sure that he said to them, like, hey, I'm going to take her out or something, like on a last night.
Oh, I feel
and I'm
so
sure
bad.
that they talked in a very inappropriate way about that. Yeah, the whole thing. I was very surprised too that he didn't. It didn't seem like he really like hit her that much, or at least he didn't like leave any marks or anything.
We were all expecting far worse.
Yeah,
I thought that we all thought that she was gonna die.
And the way he just threw the money at her and said, "Here, $30, like that's all you're worth." But I'm happy nothing happened. And
but
she
I
made
will
it out
say,
okay, but it was hard.
I will say she didn't literally die, but I think figuratively a part of her
of course
died after being raped, and just like throughout everything that she's experienced.
Clearly, you know, he did mention when we see the scene start, like she was not into it at all, and the fact that it had to end like that, which is not surprising. But think about the trauma in her head right now.
Oh my god, so
forward.
much trauma. Yeah.
Ugh.
Phenomenal job of acting, by
She's
the way.
so great.
She deserves
an Emmy or something.
Gary C. Clark, I think that's his name. The one who plays Cece.
Yeah.
I love him as an actor.
So good.
It's one of my faves. And he's
It was
British.
tough.
Yeah.
That was a very tough scene for
we see Cece again later. The pimps have called kind of like a pimp roundtable to talk about Ashley and Dave and how they're not calling heat and now buying tickets for girls to leave, and they are not happy about that. It's disrespect for them, and it's money that they lose.
I'm nervous.
Industry's dying.
Julito, I think is his name.
Julito.
Julito wants Ashley dead.
Yeah, fact.
And Cece actually protests. I was surprised. He says she's a civilian. It would cause too much heat. And do you think that he really thinks that she's safe because she's a civilian, or do you think that he is kind of protecting her, or doesn't? Like, how did you guys read that? Because I kind of thought it was like, okay, is he kind of trying to protect her?
I'm both ways. I think he is trying to protect her a little bit because they did have that relationship. She was his bottom before Lori. I do also think now that Lori's gone, I think he thinks that he can get her back in some instance. But I do think it was a little bit of protection.
Do you guys remember the scene in the apartment where he was talking to that other girl? What was her name?
With the gap?
Now she's the bottom.
Is
the
that
one that
Darlene?
Yes, but
not Darlene, the other one.
I forget her name. Do you guys remember her name?
No, but I can find out.
Anyway, he was talking to the other girl who he wanted to make the bottom. But one of the things that he said to her, he was referring to Lori's dog that wouldn't stop barking. And he said, get rid of the dog. And she said, what, you want me to kill him? And he goes, no, I'm not that heartless or not that cruel or something to that extent. So I think that just shows, that
there's something there.
Yeah, there's something there. He might have a little bit of a heart, and that's also why he didn't want to kill Dorothy.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if I would give. I honestly, I feel like without, I'm sticking to my prediction. Without Mafia essentially intervening and taking Lori away from Cece, I'm pretty sure Cece kills Lori.
Yeah.
And after that deal, like, there's no, and I think that's why he didn't really hit her face or anything, because you can't sell it to the mob to be in a bunch of movies and then beat the crap out of her. They're not going to let that fly.
That's true.
because they would have came after him, and that's it.
That's their moneymaker.
So his only recourse was basically to degrade her and say like I'm getting rid of you because like you're not even worth it anymore. So like I'm profiting off of this, when in reality he's hurting and like he doesn't know what to do. His whole life is like.
So we have a chat going on, and Omar. Hi, Omar.
Hey.
He's asking how we think Lori will feel after finding out that Cece is dead.
I'm not sure. I think she's probably
Happy, you think, or more like
Probably a feeling of relief.
I think it's one of those things where, say, like you have a job and you worked for a boss for like a really long time and you probably hate your boss right now, but it's one of those things where it's like a family member that you really can't stand, but you feel a little way about them. So if they were to pass, you'd be like, oh, that's crazy. Sorry for their loss, but I wouldn't be sobbing sad.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I think I think if she does find out, when she does find out, she might feel a little bit more freer. I don't think she'll be running back to New York looking for Cece.
Yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about next, was Cece going, getting dressed up and deciding that he's going to go out and try to collect some money, some forwarding money from the movie, from Lori's rights, which he ends up going to talk to Frankie at the parlor house. He's in the back, and he's pissing Bobby off and starts talking about his wife, and Bobby snaps and kills him. I did not see that
shocked me
at all.
Right.
That shocked me. Cece's been spiraling this whole episode. I actually thought it would be the other way around. And I don't know. I think like low-key, they just always wanted to get rid of Cece, and that was his. But I was actually shocked that he...
I mean, looking at it, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I just didn't see it coming. I think they did a great job of it. It just felt really like he wasn't planning on killing Cece.
Right.
He doesn't have like a personal vendetta against him. It's just like, yo, shut up. And like Bobby has been dealing with a lot too, so he's stressed.
But you know what? One of our other chat members has a great little addition to that. So Adiola. Hi, Adiola.
Adiola!
She says, Cece committed suicide by massage parlor pimp. Why else would he go to the French parlor, insult Bobby and Frankie, have no weapon, and sit in such a closed space talking shit about a man's wife like that?
Like, she thinks he did it on purpose to like get...
What do we think
up.
about that? I mean...
I don't know.
Interesting.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe.
Definitely an interesting perspective, Adiola.
That's possible.
Possible. He probably just didn't think that Bobby had it in him, or was that dude to stab him. You know what I'm saying? I think
that's
he really,
the reason why I wouldn't think that would be the case, is because those two are not really known to be killers.
Right.
So it like, if he could have gone, if he really wanted to die, he could have gone and found Tommy and Rudy and picked a fight with them, and they would have killed him, no problem. So I don't know, possibly. I mean, I think he definitely had a feeling of like the nothing left to live for thing, of like living on the edge. I think that's part of the reason why he was trying to get more money. I think he was, in my headcanon, he was planning on going on a trip, because he even says at the pimp table, like, I could just go on a trip. So I think he is thinking about getting away, and I think that's kind of what makes the whole thing so like kind of poetic, that he's like, all right, I'm just gonna get some more money and get out of here, and then he just can't shut his mouth.
Spiraling.
But he deserved every bit of it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think Bobby should have killed him there, but I think, karma, he definitely
someone should definitely shut him
up.
up, or like beat his ass or something.
Yeah. So real quick, couple other things. Candy has another discussion with her son and her mom at the dinner table. Again, like, the kid is really smart.
Yeah.
He's
catching on.
He's not a child. He's not a little baby. He's like a young adult. he knows.
Good way to describe
If it's
him.
not rated R, process of elimination, mom. And her saying like, oh, maybe one day you'll see it. And then grandma's like, ugh. And I was like, no,
Like, no, Candy, no.
Maybe if you shoot an alternate ending,
Yeah,
maybe, but
not
like,
with you in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to show your son a porn that you directed.
Yeah.
It's another thing
Not
to
with
show
you
your
in
son
it,
a porn
bro.
that you're in.
Right.
That would be.
No, your son doesn't want to be traumatized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
We also get to see Candy has another meeting with Marty Hodis talking about the film marketing, where Marty decides he's going to enlarge Lori's breasts on the poster because, hey, big boobs sell tickets.
Facts.
How did you guys feel about that? Lori, it seems like she's uncomfortable, but she also doesn't snap back like she did last time.
Yeah.
How did you guys read that?
I think Lori is selling everything just fine with her feminine self. I don't think she needs the whole typical way of, porn star looks with the boobs and the injections and all of that. But I think she doesn't have enough say to just say no. Like, her power is still not there.
She doesn't have a voice because, she had a
Yeah.
Pimp speaking for her. Now she has Kiki speaking for her, and all these mob guys are going to speak for
Yeah.
her. So that's what I'm interested to find out, like, as this goes on and we get into the last season, like, will she ever have a voice and become one, kind of like how Candy is super independent doing her thing.
Yeah, I mean, we also see, Maddie and Marty earlier talking about now that the film's done, they can take it away from Candy essentially and kind of edit and make what they want. And in the same time, we see her editing the film very hands-on. Like, he has to ask her to leave the room. He's like, if you don't go, you're going to give me notes before I'm done. Like, the notes are good, but come on.
Let me
So to
breathe.
see her, she's still so attached to it and knowing that they want to take it away, essentially, I don't see that panning out really well. I want to talk about Larry on set. Putting his foot down.
Yeah.
I like that.
I loved it.
I thought it was good.
I
It was
loved
comedic,
it.
but also kind of important too.
Because he's realizing that all of the racial politics going on and everything. So,
Yeah.
it's like a waking up thing for him.
Yeah, it's just interesting that because all of these things happen around him. He's just been so wrapped up in his own world that he's been completely ignorant to everything else. But now
Yeah.
that he is like on set, he's like experiencing all these things, and he's experiencing it from a position
funny.
of almost authority, just because
Yeah.
he knows he's in the film. They've already shot some things like, no, you're gonna bend to a little degree, you know what I mean? And especially as a black man, I can't imagine him getting that many other places.
Yeah. I love that scene. That was one of my favorites.
I also want to talk about Larry and Barbara, who came
Oh,
back.
Barbara.
I forgot about her.
Not expecting to see her.
Neither. I wanted her to kick his ass
Me too.
so bad.
I think she would have if he didn't give her the money. Again, and I mean, it's just like what we saw last episode, and I mean earlier this episode with them, with Cece, like these turning of the power dynamics, so much. And Larry's kind of in a gradual one because we've kind of seen the shift in him. He even declares last episode like how much he loves acting.
Yeah.
And
Didn't he rephrase a movie name, In the Heat of the Meat? Or
Like in the heat of the
something
night.
like
yeah,
that?
he's got a whole plan for
I love
movies
it.
that he wants
But
to do.
that was another one of my parts where Barbara came in and kind of stood on her own and stood guard and was letting him know, like, and got in his face and was like, give me that money. Like, you're not going to send me upstate. I'm going to do time for you. You're going to set me up and not think that I'm not going to get you
Exactly.
back. So that was a favorite of mine, too.
Yes. Real quick, I do want to share a quick word from our lovely studio.
Hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did in the comments and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you
We
very
love
much.
y'all.
Yeah, make sure you guys check out those other shows. I'm sure you watch other TV shows other than Deuce. More likely than not, we have an after show for it. Check it out. Find some people talking about shows that you're interested in as well. A couple other things. Ashley kind of gets ambushed by Dave and Abby where they basically tell her, like, look, you need to chill because you're making it hot out here. And
Ain't looking too good.
Ashley does not care. She's out there with a reckless abandon. And I feel for her because she feels like she's actually making a difference.
Yeah.
Whereas Dave, when you're doing those big picture things, it's that kind of small incremental baby steps where you look back and it's like, wow, look at all the stuff that we did. But day to day, you don't feel like you're doing as much compared to, being someone's knight in shining armor and rescuing them with a ticket. And this leads Dave to be like, look, I'm out because, he got threatened by Cece last week.
Yeah.
Like, this is real.
Yeah.
And if when it comes to violence, he's probably the one that's going to get beat up first.
And not her. I'm nervous for her.
Yeah, I think she's losing sight of what the ultimate goal is, and she doesn't realize there's going to be collateral damage. And she needs to reel it in, girl. Reel it in.
I think she's just too close to it.
Yeah,
she is. It's like, it's real and it's important to Abby and to Dave, but it's not the same as it is for Ashley.
Right.
She lived it. She knows
Right.
exactly what these girls are going through and how they feel and like what they're thinking. And she escaped.
Yeah.
And, fixed herself and got better or whatever, and then is now coming
she's
back.
back.
So she feels like, I think she also feels like a debt too of like
Right.
feeling guilty. You see this stuff going on around you and you're like, I want to help you too. Really interesting. I'm really curious to see where that goes. And the last thing really quick I want to talk about, Vincent has a really interesting discussion with his father, which goes a way that I did not, again, see coming at all. And him bringing up, maybe you should go back to your wife and your kid and your family. And like, it's never too late to reconcile. Maybe it won't be perfect, but his dad tells him about many other women that he was with,
Right.
but the most important one was always his mother, the mother of his kids, his wife.
Yeah.
And so it's a very, very, very different. I forget that actor's name, but a great guest role for him.
Armand Asante.
Thank you.
Really good actor.
Oh, it was
From
wonderful.
Gotti, American Gangster. Incredible character actor.
Yeah, just an awesome scene, and again, like really threw me for a loop. Great follow up to last episode of Vincent being like reflective and stuff, and again, being a guy myself and having a relationship with my father, that's not always great. It's like it's cool to see them have this discussion that is like them being honest and open with each other,
Yeah.
and even to a degree, his dad tells him like, "Look, shut up. I'm trying to share
Yeah.
with you, like just to take this and appreciate it," and it just felt really real and genuine.
I love that moment because it kind of reminded me of the last episode we got to see him go to Vermont just to take them out of like the New York City Deuce area, like to be around family. So I love that moment with his dad.
So a lot of stuff happened this episode. A lot of build up.
lot.
We got the finale next week. Really quick, let's do some predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Predictions.
Who wants to start?
I can start. We see, I think it's this episode where Darlene is pregnant and
Yeah.
she takes care of it. And now Darlene's trying to get a job. She talks to the guy from before. So I predict that she's going to try to get out of this life because she's not really into the whole scene herself on the movie as Larry is. So I'm excited to see what's going to come for her. Now that Cece's dead, I am a little bit more worried about Ashley because that was kind of like the whole like leave her alone, don't touch her. So I'm definitely concerned because everyone's warning her. Lori, I think Lori had the idea where she thought she was going to be free and live this best life, but I don't think anything's good going to come from it. So,
Yeah.
Frankie's gonna die.
no.
Yep, Frankie's gonna die. We saw that foreshadowing when he was in the apartment with that woman where she asks him about why he doesn't have
Yeah, he
anything
has no
prepared
plans.
for his retirement, and he said, I don't see myself growing old.
Well, I mean, to add to that, to both of you ladies, I definitely do think Darlene's going to have a relationship with the guy from the past and leave, tricking and all of that. But I also think if we touch on Lori, I think her career is going to excel in LA. She's not going to look back to New York anymore. And I think eventually Vincent and Abby will be apart. So I think that's how we might end it.
I'm actually on the other side with Lori. I think she's gonna fall apart.
I think so, too.
I think especially
Really?
with the drug stuff, going to LA, and not that her being with Cece was good, but at least she had some type of
Something kept her in check.
control or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, and her being wild as a star that's making a bunch of money and is young, like I don't see that going very well. I think Candy is going to be in for a real tough time when she realizes what's going to happen with the movie and how much that's going to be changed without her control. So I'm really curious to see how that pans out. The mob stuff is really escalating.
Yeah.
Vincent still has to like figure out what he's going to do with that. I don't even know how that's going to play out. And I'm really curious to see what's going to go on with Alston, especially now that he's decided he's going to help in this cleanup thing. And I'm also curious why we keep seeing the cleanup guy's affairs. Like, I get it. He's not gay. He's sexual, as he said, which I understand. I thought that was really great, how he was expressing, like, don't define me. I think that's really cool.
Something that's one.
I think the way that they expressed it was really natural, too. It didn't feel like a preachy moment. I really enjoyed it. So we'll be back here next week to talk about the finale. Please make sure you give us 5 stars on iTunes, hit like and subscribe, tweet us all your questions. We had to speed through these 2 episodes. There's a lot to talk about, but please hit me up on Twitter. I'd love to talk and theorize about stuff. You can find me everywhere at Dog Like Nate.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Louiza Shar.
You can find me on Instagram at Farah_Naz_B.
You guys can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.